Hey everybody, Coach here. Hey, thanks for taking a couple of minutes this week. This week, we are going to talk about landscape designing and a project with a specific end game in mind. That end game is if and when you sell. Hey, I'm glad you're here. You ready to get going? Okay, so maybe you're considering a major landscape makeover. There's been many hundreds of people that I've sat down with who have expressed these thoughts explicitly to me. Well, what I want to go over today is some major considerations I'd like you to keep in mind as you start the designing, planning, and eventual commencement of that project itself. I'm speaking to you guys who may be in their first home, maybe their second move-up home. And you know darn well that within a matter of years, you'll be moving on to another home, a move-up home, shall we say. So, in designing and executing your landscape project, I'd really like you to keep in mind the end game. That end game is when that sale sign, for sale sign, is out in the front yard. What does your landscape speak to the general public? How does it speak to you now? And what would you like it to say temporarily for you, but more likely for the masses when that yard sign goes in the front lawn? In order to accomplish that task correctly, I'd like to offer up, let's say 3 avenues of thought as you start thinking about that project. Here we go. You ready? Number 1, is what I am changing going to appeal to the many and not just the few, including myself, if I do this project? Number 2, are the dollars that I'm going to invest in this project reasonably expected to be recovered at the time of sale? And number 3, is the location within the landscape where the project is going to be, can it be tweaked or modified at the time of sale relatively easy in order to appeal to the masses at the time of sale? Let me give you an example, make it even a little more clearer. Say, for instance, you got your horticulturist nut you just need to crack, okay? And you want to have a nice vegetable garden, say in the back corner of the backyard. It's the perfect spot, plenty of sun, you have water nearby, and you really want to grow some of your own things. Well, first of all, vegetable gardens as a whole are a low cost, is also a low return on investment type of landscape project. So you can get into it really cheap. And chances are if you left it there for sale, it's not going to make a hill of beans to most people. As a matter of fact, it won't appeal to probably more than 10% of the people that come look, because us horticulturists are a small minority of the overall population, the overall buying public. So you can see what I mean. So a vegetable garden is something that you can have temporarily, and then when you're ready to sell, you can revert that area rather easily and very little investment back into an area that would appeal to the general population coming to look at your home. And some of the ideas I might suggest would be an additional sequestered seating area, a new play area for children, a focal point in the backyard, like a small, water feature that's highlighted with color and that kind of stuff. And so now you've taken your veggie garden, which you've got a lot of use out of, and now you've kind of converted it back to something where people could actually go, aha, yeah, that's a good idea. Instead of going, it's a vegetable garden. Yeah, okay, we get our stuff at the store. Okay, so masses versus just you. Now, when I used to design and consult with people right at the dining room or the kitchen table or the back patio or whatever, I used to bring this up in all conversations. And most of the time, my clients, they were all smiles. They were corners up when I was there because they were talking about and excited about a project that they're really looking forward to. And then that question would come out. That question would come out about, is this your forever home? is this going to be a place that you're at 5 years or 10 years down the road? And if so, what is your lifestyle going to be like then? And all of a sudden, all those smiles and, oh, we're so excited, would kind of, kind of fade away. And they'd kind of look at you with the furrowed brow look and go, what are you talking about? Here, we've got these dollars and we want to do this landscape project and we want to put these pretties and everything in. We want to have a nice place. And then this guy is asking, well, is this your forever house? How far do you want to go with this thing? And oh, by the way, a lot of the wants and needs you've already spoken to me about, yeah, it's not going to work too well when the sign goes in the yard. And they kind of go, we never really thought about that. You have to think about it. You really do. You have to think about, if you're not going to be here forever, is what we're doing going to appeal to the masses? And then I would design stuff up and I would construct a yard that was both appealing to them now and easily converted to something to sell later on. So here's another 2 or 3 things I'd like you to consider as you start thinking, planning, and designing. Number 1 is presentation. Another one is present and future functionality, okay? Remember that word, functionality. And third is area of responsibility. Now let's go over each one kind of quick so you kind of understand and clarify exactly what I'm talking about. Presentation. Presentation from a designer's point of view is really a big deal. Presentation in the front yard, presentation in the backyard. And when I designed stuff up, I wanted that wow factor without busting the budget for either the front or the back. Now, when it comes to sale, we really want to emphasize presentation where? We want to emphasize presentation in the front yard, not necessarily always in the backyard. Because when, and tell me in the comments below if you've ever had this happen to you. You're out there with the old real estate agent and they drive up in front of one of the places you might be interested in. And you look and the real estate agent goes, well, here we are, let's go take a look. And please keep an open mind because it's gorgeous inside. And you turn and look out the window and you see this home and you go, like that, going, yeah, no. But keep an open mind. It's gorgeous inside. Yeah, but it looks like crap outside. And look at all the dollars we're going to have to invest to make it look like that house across the street. But if you have invested a few dollars and put some lipstick on that front yard pig, and now they pull up and they go, well, here we are. Isn't it gorgeous? Look at what they've done recently to really make it look 10 out of 10. Now you look out that window and you go, oh, wow. Hey, this is really nice. I could see us pulling in this driveway after work every night. I could see mowing that front lawn. I could see us living here. It wasn't the brand new flooring in the kitchen that you had seen yet. Oh, that might be nice for you, yes. But it's that first impression. And that's the power of a nice landscape in the front yard. So presentation. Now, what about presentation in the backyard? The backyard, let's say on the daily grind, you like a backyard that's chucked full of patio furniture. You've got a smoker and 3 barbecues because you're really into that smoking and barbecuing lifestyle. You got 4 kids and you've got 2 swing sets and all these other things going on because you have a very busy family lifestyle. That's all good for your daily grind. Now the place is on the market. Now that backyard has to present itself with sparse furniture, a little idea-inducing barbecue area maybe, not 2 swing sets. No, not 2 swing sets. All the dog poop is picked up. You'd be surprised how many homes I went to consult with walking out in the backyard covered in dog crap. Covered. Literally had to walk every step to avoid it. So make sure you pick up after doggo. Now your backyard has to present itself in a functional, simple, and idea-inducing way via the landscape. You can see where some chairs and a little bistro table are. You can see that over in the corner there's a little play set for Sally and Johnny to play on. The lawn is nicely manicured and edged. Everything is functional. The outdoor lighting is functional. The irrigation is functional. There's no major league cracks in the patios and walkways. This is presentation. Okay, moving on. Present and future functionality. In the front yard, what is the function of that front yard for you? On your daily grind and when the sign goes in the yard. On the daily grind, a nice presentation to the neighborhood. Something that reflects on you as a quality, invested homeowner in the neighborhood. Then when you list, the functionality is curb appeal. Curb appeal is attained by maybe a little redo and a cleanup of the front yard, an expansion of beds and a shrinking of lawn, so that when you re-landscape using plant material only, you have plenty of space as those plants start to grow before you list. Then a couple, 2 or 3 months before you list, you can go out there and put in your perennials and your annuals. You can fluff up your entry areas with nice container bowls of color, hanging baskets, niceties that really set your front yard off and do the neighborhood justice. The backyard present and future functionality is kind of what we already discussed. It's an idea inducement to people coming in, and they could say, oh wow, this is really nice, it's very spacious. George, we could do this over here, and the kids would like that. We could have doggo big enough for a dog run. Maybe you could have your shed over here in the backyard, because they see the space. And that's how you've set the place up, landscape-wise, for the eventual sale of your property. Okay, the other one was area of responsibility. The areas of responsibility are what those parts of the yard, what are they responsible for doing for you now versus later on down the road when the sign's in the yard. The backyard is always for safe enjoyment of the property you own. Safe being you're not out on a busy street, your kids have a place to safely play, your dog or dogs or cats have a place to stay and live without having to worry about traffic and animal control and all the other things that go on. The front yard, the area of responsibility, is the entry area where people come into your property. And there's a couple of modifications that you can really enhance that front yard by a second walkway coming from the public sidewalk or the street, and the expansion of the 20-foot driveway that most residential homes have. That way, when you list the house and you have an open house, people are able to park in front of the house, center stage, because there's lots of parking, and get out and walk up that secondary walkway towards your front door without being inhibited and having to walk in between your cars, or worse yet, step off the driveway into your lawn or your planter bed to get by and up to your walkway. Expand that driveway, 3 feet on one side, 3 feet on another side. Then take one car and move it down the street for the open house. Now people can visualize when they drive up, look how much space there is. We have 3 cars. This driveway is perfect. We can put one in the garage, or hey, here's a concept, in a 2-car garage, put 2 cars in there and still have one outside for Bobby, who's 16 now and has his own car. And there's still plenty of room to get in and out. That's the idea inducement in the area of responsibility that the front yard space dictates to buyers. And heck, it's convenient for you too. Maybe you do it this year, you sell next year. Well, you got a year's worth of work and space and a whole new way to invite people over to your home and get to your front door without the in between the cars thing, okay? Area of responsibility. In the backyard, areas of responsibility are your outdoor living area, your play lawn, your storage areas, your side yards and their purpose. By the way, those side yards, 100% cleaned up by the time the sign goes in the yard. 100% cleaned up. They should be idea-induced, if not already in place, a place for navigation from the front yard to the backyard or reverse, on a durable surface preferably, and a place where, if you have the room where your garbage cans go behind the fence, not out in the front yard, not in front of the garage door. They have a specific area on the side yard, preferably with a gate, and they sit on a pad themselves. Hey, if you want to talk about side yards, check out this video that I did a little while ago. That will really kind of sharpen your pencil just a little bit on what you can do with narrow side yards. So now let's kick it up a notch. Let's say you have decided to sell, and you've had someone like Coach come over here and say, hey, if you really want to impress, I might suggest you do this, this, and this with the landscape. Some of those things always revolve around bed modification, lawn line modification, and navigation. And we've covered those already. Go big with color, and go big with color weeks in advance. Unless you want to spend a lot of dollars and start plugging gallon can color in the ground, you can do that. But if you go with cell pack or 4-inch color, you can really have quite a statement by the time the sign goes in the yard and you start having open houses. Perennials, annuals, etc. will be up and running and blooming for you, hopefully, by the time you throw that sign in the yard. If you happen to have a man cave in the back or a she shed, make sure that the placement of that she shed originally makes sense, and it's the ease of accessibility to it. Make sure that you don't have it all cluttered up, that you have it staged and ready to go where when people see it, it looks good, and when they go in it, it induces the ideas of, oh, we could do this and this in here. We could revert this to my artist studio, or the guy might go, God, I got a lot of tools. I could use this on additional tool storage, whatever it might be. It doesn't have to look like an office, and it doesn't, guys, have to look like a bar, because that does not appeal to the masses. And who really buys the house, guys? Yeah, yeah. Now, obviously, all of this is predicated on the size of your property itself. If you have 5, 10 acres, this really isn't specific to you, except immediately around your dwelling. The outback, kind of like what you see behind me here, that doesn't really come into play. But as you'll see in some of this B-roll, you can take that wooded woodlot in the back and you can make it beautiful. You can make it a curious walking inducement for people to explore. But think about it. The big properties really develop right around for sale, right around for your own personal enjoyment, and then really put some lipstick on it when you're ready to sell. So you can see that considering a landscape project, thinking it through just a little bit further than your immediate today wants and needs can really pay dividends at the midterm and long term when it comes to sale. Hey guys, I hope you got a little something out of this. I really do. I would appreciate a little like, and if you did get some value, consider subscribing. We come out every Friday with a brand new landscape DIY education video. I do have a website, if you're new to the channel, youryardcoach.com, where I have a great DIY education platform with a digital course and an ebook, plus a checklist, and even a freebie there that you can pick up as far as seasonal maintenance. I hope you check it out. I will see you guys next Friday. As always, to your landscape success, I appreciate your attention and sticking with me till now, and I will see you next Friday. Bye for now.